On Netflix the other night, I watched from 1973, The Wicker Man. This is described as, according to Wikipedia here, the Citizen Kane of horror movies. I doubt that. I was really seeing this more as a musical thriller. There's a lot of song and dance in this film about a Main Island British cop who comes to this little Summerisle to investigate a missing child. And we're treated to weird song and dance. The locals seem to be very fond of the innkeeper's daughter, to their faces. The cop heads out at night and sees everybody having an orgy, comes back to his rented room only to have a enchanting song from Britt Ekland next door, who is walking around totally naked for quite some time. It's my understanding that her boyfriend of the time, Rod Stewart, was so ashamed of everybody seeing his girl naked that he wanted to buy up the movie and stop the distribution altogether. But an odd choice to go with the not quite matching stunt double for the posterior. The next day, song and dance continue as our quite devout Christian cop realizes that this town is pagan. They have odd ideas about death and no virtue. It's an unholy land for him. He comes across the guy who runs the whole joint, Christopher Lee, and he's like, oh yes, Beck, when my grandfather bought this land, there was a drought, whatever, the crops didn't grow, but we worshipped these gods instead of your god, and hey, then we got apples. Oh, but we haven't had a good harvest, but you might not want to stick around for our May Day celebration. It's a little out there. Cop goes around looking for this girl, is not getting good answers from everybody, says she was turned into a rabbit. Oh, I'm sorry, hare. Ends up pulling a fake out, poses as Punch, this jester, participates in their little shindig, and then you realize, oh, things are not going so well for this guy at all. It was all a ruse. The girl's okay, but it was a trap, and we're going to sacrifice you, the good Christian guy, to bring good harvest for next season. I probably should have hit this with a spoiler tag, but I feel like nobody's going to watch this video unless they already saw the movie anyways, because it's just too old. And my first hearing of this was on I Love the 70s on VH1, where they pretty much gave it away. Not to mention, Netflix promotes this with a picture of the cop being sacrificed in The Wicker Man as he's burned alive. That is our conclusion to our movie. I wouldn't call this horror. There's just a bunch of people acting strange. It's a musical thriller, guys. Come on, get with it. I give The Wicker Man 2.5 out of 4 stars. So we're at the part of the video where I have to beg you to hit the subscribe button and ring that bell, because subscribe doesn't really account to anything other than YouTube might someday send me a plaque.